and we are back for Game 3 at the Edmonton Open League of Legends tournament at OKG. Sorry for the small delay there. As we get into game number 3, both teams fighting for life in this tournament. Let's get right into it. So the first couple bans coming through are going to be the Senna, the Yi, and the Trendamere. And Misfortune, Wilson, and Threat. These bans, they're okay. The MF, the Senna, and Lee Sin, very powerful picks. I'm assuming that the Yi and the Trendamere are going to be targeted bans.
Yeah, they're definitely targeted bans.
Yes.
Thresh was always one of those top tier supports you can never really get out of the meta. He's always got something he can offer to a team.
And first pick coming up is Norn, which we haven't seen, but it's been banned in most of our, in all of our games today that we've seen. Yeah, and an awkward ban coming in for phase 2 as Jax, which has been picked, to be fair, by this red side team throughout the day, but a little bit unsure as to why the Jax ban is coming.
Yeah, they could be thinking, just like a lot of pro players, that could be an Ornn mid, but I highly doubt it, as the top laner for Team Fail Support does play quite a fair bit of Ornn.
Very true, and I haven't really seen Antony playing much Ornn at all, like if at all. So I think that Ornn is definitely going to be a top laner win. That being said, we do have a pretty strong combo in the bot lane. Morgana able to black shield that Jinx and make her an unstoppable force come those mid-game team fights. And it seems like the blue side again is playing towards that team fight, which we love to see last game.
Yeah, they played it extremely well. But on the red side, we do have Aphelios, one of the strongest late-game AD carries in the game. Does take some game knowledge and experience on the champion to make work, but if you get him down, he is a monster to deal with.
Probably the best AD carry in the meta right now. Red side drafting a very easy to execute team fight comp, which I like. The ML fight, their game plan is very easy to understand, but it's very powerful at the same time. The ML fight goes in, the Swain goes in, and the Aphelios cleans up.
Unlike last game, we don't have the Hecarim coming in for Antony, so he won't have as much early game pressure as he did before, but the Karthus instead.
What I want to see from the red team here is that Jinx is their only AP damage, so I wouldn't mind seeing the jungle for red side to camp the bot lane and take away that AD presence, and then you can just stack him on.
Yeah, out of the red side, we can only assume that that's a Swain mid, Malphite top with a Aphelios Lux bot lane.
I would agree with that. Malphite jungle. I don't know. Malphite top lane, Trundle jungle. That's my bad.
I don't think we'll be seeing a Swain support this game. It is kind of a pocket pick for some of the supports around, but not very many play it. Especially into a Morgana, it'll be a lot more difficult than something like a Lux, where you can get rid of that black shield.
Lux is a much better matchup into the Morgana, and I'm kind of curious to see how this game is going to play out. Blue side having a very good late game team comp, and they scale extremely well. If you get to late game with that comp, I am scared for you. Whereas with red team, they have a little bit of early pressure, and they need to exert that because they're not going to have the same amount of team fight presence that blue side decided to draft this time around.
Yeah, definitely. With Aphelios, the hardest thing is trying to get to that level 2 without losing too much health, due to the fact that you can't use a single ability other than weapon swapping until level 2. It'll be a little harder for him to wave clear, only having the rifle and the pistol. So he will have range and lifesteal, but he won't have the wave clear that he would have with something like Infernum.
With Infernum and like how Jinx has her rockets to wave clear if she really wanted to. The push is definitely in favor of the blue side for the early game. Once Aphelios gets his Infernum, you can start to look towards having more prio in the bot lane there. I don't think Karthus is going to be ganking too much on the blue side here, and Trundle definitely has the advantage considering that none of these champions besides Ornn have a dash.
Yeah, Ornn with those upgrades though will be something to watch out for in that mid game, especially with Jinx having something like an Infinity Edge upgrade. Karthus going for something like maybe a Rabadon's getting that upgraded. And then Oriana with stuff like the Zhonya's being able to be upgraded, it'll be really difficult to deal with those enchanted items.
The Trundle should be looking to impact the bot lane and the mid lane the most. Ornn into Malphite should just be a pretty easy farm lane. Both champions are trying to do the same thing, impact team fights, so there shouldn't be too much going on in that early game skirmish.
Yeah, Trundle will be difficult to take down, especially if he ults the Ornn, stealing all that bonus armor and MR that Ornn gets from his passive. It'll be a huge turn in the team fight, not being able to take him down.
For sure. And we're just waiting for the spectator delay to get through here. But what I'm looking for, at least from the red team, is they do have the early game advantage, so I'll say it once, I'll say it again, but we're looking for them to take early dragon control. They should, by the time dragon comes around, Aphelios should have swapped to his Infernum and Graviton combo, which is a very strong team fight and skirmishy combo.
Yeah, using Infernum's ability in order to proc multiple Gravitons in a fight, being able to root down everybody, that'll be huge. But if Aphelios happens to get to level 6 in a fight and use his Infernum, that'll be a ton of damage dished out around the entire team that's impossible to dodge.
Aphelios actually last patch getting his range on his ultimate nerfed by, I believe, 400 range.
300 from 16 to 1300.
Range, 300 range, and then also losing a little bit of damage, I believe, on his Chakram turrets, to where it doesn't shoot nearly as much.
Yeah. And also being able to see which guns Aphelios has at that time will make it a little easier to sort of predict what he's looking to do. But at this point, everyone kind of knows what and when Aphelios can do things.
People starting to finally figure out what the champion actually does, which is very good overall. Very happy. The fact that Aphelios is finally getting figured out.
Yeah, we see rune choices coming in here, fairly standard across the board mostly.
Yeah, more or less. I wouldn't have mind seeing the Malphite take Comet just for that extra lane priority. It's very good, especially if you're spamming Q into the enemy top laner.
Yeah, we will most likely see just a standard 5-point from Empire. But then, as we've seen the past 2 games, Team Fail support love to try getting that level 1 pressure. They do have a Morgana, so if they do hit that Dark Binding, it's pretty much that beginning of the end for that person right there. They're going to have a real struggle in lane.
They definitely do have a higher priority level 1, and they are stacking that Tri-Bush that got invaded last game, which they blew the MF flash and took a kill from her, which ended up snowballing the game heavily in their favor.
Yeah, they're just doing a 5-man stack, hoping that they try invading, getting that early skirmish. Nothing really coming out of it, so it's kind of a half-done 5-point from Empire. You know, they don't exactly have everything set up the way it should, and it is a Swain support though.
Swain support, very powerful into most matchups. I'm not sure how it does into the Morgana, considering the Black Shield does stop the pull from Swain. Lux might have been a lot better into that because she can proc that Black Shield very quickly to get the bind off after she uses
Yeah, and what I would have liked to see is something like a Glacial Augment from Swain, so that way he can still deal damage, but also still apply pressure in a team fight, just like a regular Swain could, with the cost effectiveness of the GLP and the Twin Shadows.
For sure. And I wouldn't mind as well seeing summon Ari from, or summon Ari from the Morgana, but the Comet working out very well, and she's just trying to go for poke and harass in lane.
Yeah, in this matchup, it wouldn't have been terrible to see Aerie or Guardian from the side of Morgana, just ensuring that Jinx can stay alive, because they do have what seems to be more of a protect the Jinx type of composition this game.
I would slightly agree with that.
And Swain going down. Another first blood to Team Fail support. Clearly, they're getting their act together game in and game out.
Another thing to keep in mind is that nobody blew sums in the bot lane. Swain didn't flash, Philos didn't heal, he just kind of died. And we can see how the top lane matchup's kind of going to go. The Malphite's just going to throw Qs, but he can't really win extended trades because he has those mana issues that Malphite always has.
Yeah, Ornn not really having the same issues due to the fact that he can purchase a Sapphire Crystal, but here we see a gank coming in from MHP on that Trundle, and the Ornn just walking away, doing his thing, letting Malphite push in this wave. Ornn is more than happy to accept that.
Another thing to keep in mind is that Ornn can actually destroy player-made terrain with his E, so if Trundle throws down his, the pillar in an awkward spot, and then they decide to engage into that fight, Ornn can use the pillar against.
Another binding hits onto Flashlight Man, forces his flash out.
And there's that flash that we should have probably seen earlier on. But nothing too major just yet, just the flash coming out. He really has to start working on not getting hit by those, though.
Yeah, if Quanta can hit another Dark Binding onto Flashlight Man, he is sure to fall, giving a huge lead over to the side of Fail support. We did see a gank come in mid from MHP, nothing to be gained of it. And there's the binding, hit with the zap, forcing him to back off.
And Swain's probably going to need to back off of that overall. Unless,
Yeah,
if he decides to stay, he's in a very vulnerable situation.
Yeah, and here we see MHP getting low, kill going to Antony, the bind onto Flashlight Man, does get low, the rocket coming through, taking him down for the second time in 4 minutes.
Swain cannot be walking forward like that. He's blown summoners, he has to play safer, he needs to play farther in the minion wave to like dodge those Morgana bindings. Those Morgana bindings are huge and it's what makes the champion.
Yeah, and he forced the heal out of Julius, which then gives them such a huge advantage for the side of Team Fail support, having that safety of the heal.
Having the safety of the heal is a nice thing to have. It's not necessary, and but like we're saying, like the Swain just needs to play safer in these fights. Ornn is trading extremely well into this Malphite. I'm not sure how the Malphite's supposed to do too much into an Ornn, considering the Ornn does bring as much damage as a Bruiser, it seems.
Yeah, but like you said earlier, top lane just looking to farm it out. Karthus just looking to hit that level 6 and use his ultimate to impact the lanes.
Once level 6 hits with the Karthus, I wouldn't mind seeing Team Fail support start pushing towards that dragon. They are ahead by 2,000 gold already in this game. Jinx has created herself a CS lead, and small duels going down on the bottom, where Swain and the Aphelios are seemingly trading well.
Yeah, Swain still being quite a ways down, and not really going to be able to make much of an impact in this lane. It's mostly up to the Aphelios.
Vampire actually sneaks the dragon, which is quite big for them, considering they are behind in this game. And I'm actually super happy that they decided to go for something that would give them advantage late game, and that makes it so that Team Fail support is farther away from that dragon win condition, and they're one step closer.
Yeah, and there we see the Crescendum Infernum combo looking to just auto push the wave. Don't use any of your Infernum stacks there to use that. But here we see Antony in the bot lane clearing out that mid board, looking to try to just bring pressure to the bot lane.
And this Karthus should be getting fairly close to level 6. He's been farming all game. I believe he's just taking the Scuttle Crab right now, and I do not think that'll give him enough XP to level 6, but he definitely is getting close.
Yeah,
Trundle.
As we see in the top lane, Ornn just shoving in Malphite because he has no mana. Ornn does pick up the Catalyst of Aeons, though.
Another thing to keep in mind with Ornn is that he can build items in the middle of laning phase, so while the Malphite's not getting stronger while they lane, Ornn can just back off and become stronger in seconds. And we see both junglers just trading with size and basically splitting the map. In this case, I think it's an advantage for the Karthus to actually be splitting the map here, considering Trundle wants to be the one scaring the Karthus out of farm early on, and it doesn't really matter if the Trundle impacts the top side of the map, because Ornn's always going to be strong.
Yeah, the one downside to Karthus jungle is the fact that you are prone to invades and being able to be punished in your own jungle. but in the end, you still are a Karthus able to put a lot of pressure into fights just by pressing R.
For sure, and that's 100% going to hit all 5 members, which is big damage in team fights, especially in a slightly squishier comp that Team Empire decided to try.
Yeah, we will have to see how these lanes play out. So far, it is a 3-kill lead, just barely a 3k gold lead for the side of Fail Support. The Ornhorn coming in.
That's the Ornhorn ain't going to connect with anything this time, but definitely pulled out the Malphite ultimate, and Ornn has the TP advantage if he wanted to back and then decide to impact the bottom side of the map.
Yeah, and as we see across the board, huge CS lead for the bottom lane, 20 CS advantage.
Looks like a regank is coming down. The Karthus looking for some Qs. The Malphite has no ultimate left to save him, and he is going to go down to the Ornn Q.
Yeah, that Volcanic Rupture will sneak up on you with its damage.
And it looks like Karthus is going to start looking for, start laying waste to that Rift Herald.
Yeah, looking to get that early Herald, try transitioning that into an even larger gold lead. And we'll try getting hit by the Electrocute, though.
Quick trades on the bot lane, nothing too major. Morgana just going to see if she can hold wave. Maybe not out of tower, but she's just going to collect that experience. Trundle sitting at the Karthus red buff, but I don't think he's going to get too much out of that.
No, and Swain's recall canceled there by Quantic Theory. Jinx coming in with a BF pickaxe to Aphelios' BF sword only. And Flashlight Man does go down to Quantic. The flash chains there does root, and the kill goes over to Joa. 3-0-1 on this Jinx. That is a huge discrepancy. Orianna forced to flash, does get hit by the light binding. Shockwave comes in. The Ignite follows through.
Teleport comes through and is easily able to clean up the Trundle.
And there's the Requiem.
And just decimates the Lux.
And the Herald being casted mid, looking to get a lot of pressure there. Free up Shin from this lane. Let him be able to roam and use those shockwaves in other sides.
That play was able to go from bad to good for Team Fail Support, just because they are able to collapse more members onto that fight than Team Empire was able to.
Yeah, that is quite questionable, though, from Corbin Dallas, not using the final spark to take down Shin in that fight. And bot tower already taken down at 10 minutes. This is an 8-kill lead, 7,500 gold.
I wouldn't mind seeing the two side lanes swap here and having the bot lane head top lane just start wrecking that tower too. 5 tower plays down for the Jinx. This Jinx is massive. Already finished her IE and is working towards probably Brunette's Hurricane.
Yeah, you got to get that wave clear in early so that way Jinx can start pressuring these towers with that the Q proc. But here we see Jinx heading back to the bot lane. Not exactly sure what they're trying to do. Maybe contest this dragon.
I think dragon has less importance here over tower, just because you can get so much gold from rotating the beat, and especially because you're reset, you're not going to be able to get to the dragon in time anyway.
Yeah, your jungler was nowhere nearby. You should have just immediately sent your bot lane to that top lane, send Ornn down so he can just soak up XP as Aphelios and Swain push him in. And that way Jinx and Morgana can take that top tower and put pressure for the second Herald spawn.
For sure. And Team Empire just easily taking away that dragon once again. It's very good that they're taking them, but they need to start shoring up their mistakes that they're making in between these dragons, because they would be scaling so much better right now and have like a better chance of getting objectives if they just weren't throwing their small lead that they had to throw.
Yeah, those dragons do add up, but at this point, what's the cost of it? Your 80 carry is so far behind, almost an entire item behind. Your support can't exactly impact the map in the way you need them to. And here we see a fight coming out from Antony on MHP. Antony does take him down.
Not too much to Trundle to do there. 2 levels behind. Just kind of runs up the Karthus and dies, honestly.
Yeah, and here we see Ornn and Malphite just doing their old slap fest in the top lane. Grasp for grasp there. Nothing too exciting to see.
A 9,000 gold lead for Team Fail Support. This is probably the biggest we've seen all tournament in terms of gold discrepancy.
Yeah,
this early on.
You can definitely tell the difference between the first and this game from Team Fail Support. Last game, they started getting their wits about them, and this game, it seems like they've just completely flipped a 180 switch from the first.
This game, they're getting the same thing they got last game. They're getting those good shockwaves. They're getting, like, they're working as a team, and they're moving around the map together, which makes them very strong and very, like, they're just able to do whatever they want. They can force whatever they want, which is why I'm surprised they're not forcing top tower right now.
Yeah, it seems like Team Fail Support, after the first game, reevaluated what they were doing, played more for comfort, and now they're just absolutely running amok with all these picks that they obviously have a lot of comfort on and understand the playstyles for.
For sure. Nothing really happening right now. Mid tower and bot tower are gone, so Team Fail Support are up to 10 tower plates to 0.
Yeah, that is absolutely huge. We still have 30 seconds until plates fall, so they could get all 15.
Should be pretty big. I do not think that's what they're trying to do, so I'm not feeling too confident that they're going to go for all 15.
Yeah, no. Right now they're just looking to create pressure. MHP caught out in his own jungle, nowhere to run.
MHP going to go down pretty simply there.
Yeah, he only has the Cinder Hulk, a Ruby Crystal, and a Longsword. Not too much he can do, just getting choked out in his own jungle.
Looks like Team Fail Support are pushing mid lane right now, about to siege up. There's not much the Malphite can do. He's pretty far behind. I feel like if he just hops in there, he's just going to die. Ornn is getting very close to his passive items.
Yeah, and here we see Swain kind of just sitting in spot. Not a whole lot he can do, just taken down. Malphite goes in with the ultimate, but just like the one prior,
unable to collect the kills. And it looks like Oriana's going to go down for the first kill of for Team Empire.
Yeah, no more clean sweep there. That's a ripperoo. That's a report for Shin. But in the end, he still has these incredible shockwaves. A little bit more aggressive than needed to be.
Karthus living with like 1 HP. Calculated, I guess.
Yeah, but those wolves were not happy. They wanted to take him down. They were chasing, but just outside their aggro range.
The wolves were looking for that bounty.
Yeah, man, you gotta feed your wolves.
Ornn just pushing in the bot lane here. Baron coming, or not even Baron. It's a 15-minute game, damn. Rift Herald number 2 coming up here soon, as well as Dragon. Team Fail Support should be looking for both of these objectives to help them close out the game, as well as deny the 3rd Dragon from Team Empire, who has been able to sneak 2.
Yeah, and if they start stacking those mountains, it is good for MHP to get those ultimates off, but at this point, it doesn't really make a huge difference when he's sitting there 1 in 5. Like, yes, he can ult the Ornn, who has a lot more resistance. He's still going to fall to the 2.5 item Jinx.
Yeah, Jinx is massive this game. She was massive last game, but she's consistently able to get fed every game, and I wanna give a lot of that credit to Quantic Theory, who's been playing extremely well in the last 2 games, both on the Pyke and the Morgana.
Yeah, he clearly understands his matchups. He understands when he can pressure, and at the cost of Flashlight, man, he's showing a really good play.
Team Empire should be looking to collapse on this Rift Herald because Team Fail Support only put Karthus onto that Rift Herald. This could be an easy cleanup kill as well as the Rift Herald, which would be a good trade.
And the kill going over to Flashlight Man from Anthony. The ultimate does take down Julius, and then the rocket takes out Flashlight Man.
Team Fail Support rotating
the auto follows, Clockwork wind up doing damage. Rio barely getting out by the skin of his teeth.
That turned from what looked like a very good trade for Team Empire to a 3-for-1 for Team Fail Support. Chartle's going in here, but I'm not sure what he's going to do. It's a very fed Oriana and a Morgana there to peel.
Rampage.
Our 10X is probably going to go down here as well, yeah. And bot lane's being pushed in by the Ornn and the Jinx.
Yeah, in comes the Swain eyeball, but at no cost of anything. This bot tower should go down here fairly soon. Aphelios just clearing the wave with that, with the lifesteal Q. Mid tower also getting pressured though. The binding onto Lux takes quite a lot of damage.
And looks like Team Fail Support is just going to reset to clear the jungle and try again for this, hopefully for the Rift Herald, which will give them access to Team Empire's base. I'm not sure if it's too necessary at this point, considering they have a 16,000 gold advantage. But Rift Herald would definitely help close the game just that little bit faster.
Yeah, Rift Herald will definitely make a huge impact towards ending this game a lot quicker. We aren't even close to the Baron spawn, but at this point, I don't even think Team Fail Support need to worry about that.
For sure. I think Ornn might even just be tanky enough to end the game out, like just tank the turret outright, especially with that Sunfire Cape buff that we got with Bombi Cinder dealing more damage. Ornn's going to deal that much more damage than he already was.
Yeah, Ornn almost at level 12, which will be 1 level away from his item upgrade level. As soon as he hits 13, that Sunfire and Infernal Mask will be upgraded.
Which will make him, that's nearly 2,000 gold stats just for leveling up once. Typically do not want to stand inside the fights coming down here. The final spark coming through, but not much mattering. Malphite going down, and the Trundle backing in the bush right beside it. Morgana hitting the bind, and this is just clockwork work at this point. They're making fast and easy work of Team Empire.
Yeah, Team Empire doesn't seem to be in as secure of a position, we'll say, as Fail Support. Fail Support just absolutely dominated through the laning phase, especially through that bot lane. They didn't need any pressure. The Herald doesn't even lose HP on that inhibitor, so it will get the charge off here. The full damage charge, and that's a guaranteed turret. Will we see the second charge? And yes, so this very well will be the end of the game. 3:20 minutes.
Let the Rift Herald dance, come on.
Oh, the Shockwave, down goes MHP. They've got to end this quick so that we can see Shelly dance.
I don't think Shelly's going to survive here. Oh, he might. Oh, they might. And this game's just gone. 3:20-minute game.
And Shelly is dancing.
That's the game. Team Empire versus Team Fail Support.